We've traveled back in time to warn our past selves about the impending climate catastrophe. You know what we came back to tell our past selves, Harry?
What?
To remind Mark not to stall and just do the fucking podcast on time like a normal human being. Da 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 da.
No,
No no
no,
no no no
no,
no.
no.
No, no, that's no, we're done. We're done with that. Hi,
Yeah.
folks. Welcome to Hitting the Mark with Harry and Mark. I'm your co-host, Mark, and this is my wonderful co-host, Harry.
Hello.
We're back by popular. I can't say it. No, not popular demand. We're back for the sake of talking to each other. It has been about a month, a week
Um,
shy of a month, I think,
Week
since
China
we've
month.
done our COD past, and yeah, we're trying to resume our normal broadcasting hours. Fuck yeah! On the show today, we do the usual. Of course, we discuss a couple trailers or things that we're excited about. We're going to go over a couple shows or one show. Uh, we are going to discuss Spiders Man. See what I did
Mm-hmm.
there? See what I
Yep, I
Spiders
did.
Man. And
Mm.
then we're going to also discuss another movie that we saw recently, Nightmare Alley. Mm,
This is true.
mm. But first, the most important way to start off the podcast. Harry,
Yeah.
how was your week? How was your
My,
month?
how's my
What
month?
did you get for Christmas?
How's the holidays?
Actually, no, what did you get for Reyes des Magos?
Oh God. Yeah.
You didn't even get the Roscoe, did you?
No, that was dude.
You
That is like
fucking
childhood, man. Childhood stuff right there. Uh,
excuse me?
um.
Wow. I feel attacked.
So these holidays, my Christmas presents were basically, man, I just cannot talk today. Okay, these holidays, my Christmas presents were basically essentials. I got socks, underwear, shirts, new pair of shoes. Um, uh, Livy got me a new phone case because mine was falling apart. Um, Stuff that I should be buying myself throughout the year. um, Basically, I got for Christmas. Um,
Nice.
uh, I also, or we also got an Oculus Quest, um, which is the VR thing. Um, Livy's dad got it for us, and shit's trippy. We've only used it once, to
Ooh,
set it
someone
up.
half like Alex.
Dude, I was
So,
when it
so
goes
that
on
I.
sale. When it goes on sale, I'm gonna get Resident Evil 4.
Oh my fucking god.
Dude, I'm hell stoked for that. Um, but Half Life Alex as well. That one I completely forgot about that game. Um, but yeah.
You know what it is for me?
Hmm.
It's that weird like lightsaber combat game or that like medieval combat game that I think people modded to look like a lightsaber Star Wars thing, and you're
Oh,
just like whacking away at people. I really don't know.
yeah. I haven't really delved too much into that, but it's pretty trippy. I'll say that much. It's really weird. Um, but that was another present that we got. And that was it for me when it comes to presents. Other than that, that was basically my holidays. New Year's, I didn't do shit. I played games with our friend Aved. Um, uh, oh, I know I vented to you about it. Basically at work, I'm sure some people have already heard, but like what where we clock in and out of that hit the shit the bed or whatever, and like um basically everyone got paid their regular like 40 hours, but like if you did overtime or used up sick time or whatever, like that shit's gone. Like it just basically it wasn't, I think, until yesterday we had to turn in like what we could remember of what we worked those 2 weeks. Um and I clocked in about 90 plus hours those 2 weeks. So I did about, I feel like I did like 95 hours because a lot of on calls, a lot of overtime. So hopefully I see my money soon. Um,
What's the fucking money?
yeah. And then one short funny story. We're going to the In and Out uh drive through,
Why
and
am I not surprised?
yeah, I think it was late. It was later at night, so there's no one outside. You know how there's usually the person in the front with the little tablet. So there's no one there. So we're just ordering through the little speaker, and we're going. The lines aren't short, so they're really long, and so we're waiting, and then they go, and the car in front of us just like the car before them orders and then starts pulling up, and then the car in front of us just goes right behind them, just skips the speaker. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I move forward towards the speaker, and then the rest of the line just pulls up behind me, right? And then so I'm in the middle of my order, and the car in front of me just starts backing up. They realized, oh shit, I I forgot to stop at the speaker to make my order. And so they're just trying to reverse and and I this is
No
so I,
teamwork here.
I was again placing my order, and I was like, all right, so I want number one and number two, and then I stopped and I was like, sorry, sorry, the car in front of me's backing up into me. 1 second. It's just like I had to like honk at them, like, dude, what the fuck? Because like I looked behind me, it's like, dude, there's like 20
Yeah,
cars
dude.
behind me. Like I can't back up. Like there's
Krypton had its fucking chance.
yeah, exactly. And so they went forward. They knew like, okay, we fucked up, and so I just had to give the person in front like a heads. I was like, hey, just so you know, I think the person in front of me completely like did not place their order. So just a heads up, when they pull up, they might give you an order. They're like, oh, okay, thanks. Um, but yeah, a little funny story that happened over the past couple weeks. And also I got into a new game, and you saw me play it.
Oh. Oh, Jesus, no. God, no. No. God, no. Please, no.
Look,
No.
look,
You fucking weeb.
look.
Why does fucking anime have to turn everything into a fucking waifu? Why? Fucking.
Because it's the only way they make money. Like, hey, look, I'm not spending any real cash on it. The game mechanics are really cool. The only thing that bums me out,
No.
can't kick my friends' asses.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
Way to be at the bottom of the fucking totem, pal. Why don't you get back to a game you're good at?
it's like I like that's the one thing that like bummed me out from Pokemon Go. Of like, I was able to catch all the Pidgeotos in the world and have a beef ass like Pidgeotto, but then I couldn't kick my friends' asses with my bomb ass Pidgeotto. It was just pointless. So I stopped playing.
God.
Of course, this is when it
You
first
are
came
so
out. I
pathetic.
think you can battle your friends now, but
Oh
I'm
my
just
God.
over it.
You better be.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
hope
but
I hope this is a phase. I'm a very disappointed parent. I want you to know that right now. It's a phase. You'll get through it. You haven't really matured, right? You don't know what you're doing.
yeah, that.
Ah, God.
But that has been my holidays. How about yourself, sir? How
Oh man.
has your holidays been? What did you get for the whatever
I got
holiday?
from my wonderful girlfriend. I got a new
Mm-hmm.
airbrush, which is a
Oh,
gravity feed airbrush. And a whole bunch of attachments that I don't know how to do quite yet. But I'll learn because I'm
oh
an
yeah,
adaptive motherfucker.
you
But I
better.
got that, and fucking without even communicating, my fucking girlfriend and my parents got like a bunch of cheap, like tiny. little Bandai Star Wars models. So I've
Sick.
got like $50 worth of like the super super extra tiny ones. So that'll be interesting
Hmm.
to do a little easy starter diorama with. Gotta start small. Every time I fucking try doing one, it's always like, it's gonna defy the conventional norms of diorama making. So no, I gotta fucking, knowing me, I gotta start at the fucking bare bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so
Mhm.
yeah, I spent about a week in Southern California with Stacy's family. That was fun. Um, I love spicy food, but my white ass can't process it. I'm literally the thing that I have mocked for my entire life.
Mhm.
I love birria. I love fucking all that like classic fucking mom hand rolling tortillas shit, and like my body just can't handle it.
It is.
I've
It happens.
I've become old.
You've become old, dude.
I
Yeah.
really have.
Welcome.
So what's about as bad as like your stomach not being able to take that
Mhm.
is having to sleep on an air mattress
Oof.
where you wake up with your neck just shot to pieces afterwards.
You're like
Yeah.
you're like Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man. My back.
Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah. My back. Oh. Yeah. You
So
have no
good.
idea. So, that was fun. Um Having to deal with my wonderful woman's little little nieces and nephews, half and
Hmm.
half, like, "Oh, we love you, Mark," and, "Oh, you're a duty head. Ah, I have separation anxiety from my aunt, and you're getting in the way of that. Ah, fuck you. Ah." So yeah, that was fun. I'll never get fucking sick and tired of that ever. But man,
That's good.
oh god, I can't wait till those fucking kids are like old enough so that I could
Hmm.
just fucking suplex them without getting in trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was that. Uh, I didn't really do like a particularly crazy birthday. I know, like in our heyday, we would be fucking up till like 2 or 3 doing drinking and hanging out over at your place or
Yep.
one of our older friends. But that, yeah, my ass, fucking god, oh god, fucking. So I told you how Stace and I are doing the whole horror circuit, right?
Yes.
So recently we just watched Friday the Third. No, Nightmare on Elm Street. We
Uh
finished
huh.
that, except for
Okay.
Freddy versus Jason.
Right.
Now we just started on January 1st, which I passed out at 11 for,
Yep.
or New Year's Eve. We watched Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Yeah, this has a fucked up bit of trivia to it. Oh man.
Yeah.
So
I remember you telling me. Yep.
there's a scene where I think it's Kevin Bacon, and fucking Kevin Bacon's in this, and I just blew my
I always,
mind.
I always forget that.
Um, yeah, right. So all the fucking cabin people are doing their cabin thing, and one of the females is in the cabin on her own changing, and this fucking snake is like doing its snake thing, right? And she screams and screams, and fucking it startles the snake, and the snake goes under the bed, and the
Hmm.
other camp people are like, "Oh, what's going on?" And they it's all very improvised, right? It feels very like unscripted. They're all just kind
Yeah.
of like, oh, let's find it. Oh, so they go under. I think Kevin Bacon's character grabs a fucking knife or a machete and literally hacks this snake to death. And Stace and I are like, wait, that looks way too fucking real. Way too fucking real. So I look up like, Friday 13th snake Google, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And it turns out that one of the fucking not producers, but like I think special effects guys apparently had like this idea to use the snake like this in an improvised scene. And they got the handler to be like, "Hey, we're going to have a scene where like the snake is in this cabin, but they didn't tell them apparently that this was going to happen, that like the snake was going to get killed.
Yeah.
So the scene happens and the guy fucking has a fucking understandable fit and they restrain the dude and he's crying apparently. Like this is all like reading trivia bullshit. I don't know how much of
Yeah.
it is true, but like that snake did fucking die. And that's some fucked up shit.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it's a bull snake, and bull snakes are pretty fucking docile. I mean, I would still feel pretty bad if they took like a fucking rattlesnake
Right.
from its like habitat and just threw it into a fucking room to get fucking hacked up. But like, I don't know. I feel a little different knowing that it's like a completely or a relatively harmless animal that's just getting fucking like butchered for nothing. Anyway, we're gonna continue the franchise, and at the end of it, we're gonna watch Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, we're gonna do fucking Leatherface, the Tejas,
Yeah.
como se dice,
Is
chainsaw massacre.
yeah. Is Hellraiser on the list?
You know what? It might be. I don't
Might
know how
be.
slashery it is. I would, you know
Um.
what? Yeah, it's like supernatural slasher. It's not
Yeah.
like it doesn't quite fit into that mold exactly, but I would put that in a bit of a slasher range, especially the first one, where she's just
Yeah.
like killing people.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have like the typical kind of thing behind it necessarily, but
True.
I would categorize as that. Anyway, yeah, over the week, I did The Witcher. Really fun. I enjoyed it. Fucking Yaskier always coming out with those fucking hits every season. Uh, I watched Wheel of Time as well, a Amazon TV series based on a very popular book franchise.
Okay.
Uh, I enjoy it. There are parts of it I want to discuss with you. I actually think you might enjoy some of it. I
Okay.
actually think you might enjoy a lot of it. Um, the best way I can describe it, this is gonna sound really stupid, um, is like The Lord of the Rings meets
Hmm.
uh like The Stand or
Okay.
some other fucking Stephen King. I mean, it does not have like the Stephen King feel to it, but I mean how do I put it? Essentially there's a dark lord, the dark
Yeah.
one, and every 3,000 years there's like a cataclysmic event where the dark lord can like come into our plane and like fuck us,
Yeah.
like badly fuck us. And the dragon is someone who is reincarnated around the same time to either assist or help the dark one, and
Okay.
or something along those lines. But
Mhm.
there's like a cyclical nature to the writing and the themes of the story that I think are unexplored but potentially very interesting, if we see more of it, which I'm interested in. Like I don't think the Wheel of Time at the moment was anything particularly groundbreaking, but it definitely had uh, a similar kind of plot structure as the Lord of the Rings. Like, oh hey, we have to flee our village. We got separated a little bit. Some shit's going down. Well, that's every movie, but you know,
Right.
the if you gave it a watch, I think you would see a lot of similarities.
Okay.
Well acted. Rosamund Pike is like, man, I wonder how they got her to do this performance because I think like pretty much everyone in this show is not unknown, but like a fairly unrecognizable. Rosamund Pike. I'm trying to think of where you would know her from. You remember Doom in 2005?
No.
Fuck. Okay, whatever. Rosamund Pike is a phenomenal actress,
Hmm.
and the show is fucking lucky to have her because, god damn it. Anyway, um, I recommend that because I think you might enjoy it, and we can talk
Okay.
about it some other time. Witcher,
Okay.
yeah, of course, Witcher. And then I've actually caught up on Hawkeye and I started watching Boba Fett.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, some of the stuff that we did together. We saw
Mhm.
Spider-Man, we saw Nightmare Alley,
We
and
did. We
we'll be
did.
discussing that later. But first, out of all that, what did you want to discuss first?
Um. Well, we can just start talking about movies.
Yeah.
Um. Which one did you want to talk about first? Did you want to talk about something? You want me to talk about something? Yeah, I can talk about stuff if you want.
Booze. Yeah, go ahead. Fuck
Okay.
yeah. I'll never say no to you talking.
I'll let's get out of
You and your silky
let's
voice.
let's get the movies that aren't out yet out of the way first.
Okay. All right. All right.
um so the first one we're going to talk about is, for me, Operation Fortune.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Josh Hartnett and Aubrey Plaza movie that I'm excited for.
You did it. You fucking did
Yeah.
it.
Nah, it is. Yes, Jason Statham. I don't care what his name is.
What I
That
tell you,
dude.
Mike?
Yeah, he's in it. He's the main guy. But to me, Josh Hartnett and Aubrey Plaza. So for the podcast, Aubrey Plaza is like my number one on my list, right? For like
Mm-hmm.
uh just famous people. Aubrey Plaza, number one. Um, you
I
know
didn't know
how
that.
yeah.
What the
Uh
fuck, Harry?
you know how there's always like, hey, like people asking a straight guy like, if is there one guy who you like go gay for? And my answer is always Josh Hartnett. Like, dude, I don't know what it is about the guy, but I'd probably go gay for him. And I just remember in movies like in The Faculty,
Oh yeah.
Pearl Harbor, 40 Days, 40 Nights, fucking H2O, dude.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, man. So yeah, he's obviously not really done anything in a while. I
He's had a respectable 10 years,
oh
pal. Okay.
yeah, I'm just saying it's been a while since
Don't you denigrate good
Look,
work.
I'm not. But I did watch a show that he did on HBO called Penny Dreadful, which is actually pretty
Drenny
good.
Pedful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it.
Have you seen the new spin-off series, the 1920s one?
No, I've not.
You fucking dilettante.
But yeah, I'm stoked about it just because of that. Like, I saw the trailer, looks all right, but for me,
Yeah.
it's just because it's like, yo, it's Josh Hartnett. I haven't seen him in a movie in a while, and it's Aubrey Plaza. I always enjoy her. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, I'm excited for that. I don't know if you've seen trailers or what you
I
think
have.
about it, but
I'm I'm actually kind of excited for it, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
mm,
the premise, I feel like we're getting to the point where it's like, the premise is just so silly. Like
yeah,
a spy fucking tracking down a billionaire or a weapons billionaire, and to do that he's using like the assistance of another spy and a fucking movie star to like gain entrance into like his inner circle. Like, it's so silly, but like, yeah, I'll agree with you on that. Like, I like Josh Hartnett. He had like that like late 90s early 2000s heartthrobby kind of vibe to him, and then
mm-hmm,
he kind of
mm-hmm,
just, his career didn't quite like go anywhere the way I think people might have expected.
mm-hmm.
I think my
So
favorite movie with him,
yeah.
other than The Faculty, is probably 30 Days of Night.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that's such a good.
Yes,
I did see
right.
people talked about how he did a lot of really good horror films like in his tenure.
Hmm.
Um, and I have
And
to
yeah,
agree.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, apparently it's Guy Ritchie. He's been making movies left and right the last couple of years. He's done this, he did Man of Wrath, which is just like
Okay.
a random, like, I don't get it. He does fucking The Gentleman, which is kind of like a return to form for like the Snatch fans, right?
Yeah.
And the Lock, Stock and Smoke and Barrels kind of fan group. And then he comes out with like a mid-range like suspense action film with
Mm-hmm.
Jason Statham called Man of Wrath. He's a fucking mob dude. I honestly didn't fucking see it, but apparently it was solid for what it was. And
Mhm.
now he's just fucking coming out of nowhere with this. Like, what the fuck, Guy Ritchie?
Yeah. Damn.
But
Okay.
yeah, interesting. He always knows how to direct a certain amount of comedy style.
Mhm.
Like, I'm interested. I am. And
Um.
Aubrey Plaza, like
Yeah.
monotone delivery with everything,
Dude, it's
pulls it
so good.
off. Great comedic timing.
Mhm.
Jason Statham, I mean, like the most handsome bald man in the world.
Yeah.
Like this man has been literally bald for like 25 years and just nails it. Nails it.
So good. Side note, I was reading up on Twitter. Josh Hartnett was actually um asked by Christopher Nolan first. It was Josh Hartnett was his first choice for Batman.
Oh, fuck. God damn it. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. You know the one thing keeping me from liking Josh Hartnett?
Mm,
His hair.
mm,
He's got this weird thing with like his sideburns going on. Like
mm-hmm.
just I can't I can't, give him a haircut. Give him a haircut and I could see him I could see him in the part. But like he's got
Mm,
like this thing and I'm not a fan of it where like your hair does like this weird triangle sideburn thing when it's too long. Like he just
yeah,
got out of bed perpetually. I'm more of uh like uh like a nice flat sideburn that nice, goes around the ear and not diagonally towards it. I don't know. I don't know. You call me nitpicky. Call me nitpicky. I don't know. I just
nitpicky.
don't trust the man. It's just something is preventing me from going all the way with him. Okay,
Okay, fair
you
enough.
can't be angry at me for that.
No,
And I
no,
think
I'm
it's
not.
the hair.
But Josh Hartnett explained that the reason why he turned down the position was because he didn't want to be like
The Batman
stereotyped
guy.
as no, he didn't want to be stereotyped as a like superhero person. Like
Damn.
all he does is like super like or all they want him to do is superhero films and stuff like that. Um so I mean which I kind of get, right?
Hmm.
Like sometimes like you play a certain role and then it's like, "Yep, that's you. You're the Batman. That's all you're ever going to be." And it's like,
I feel like that was way less valid then as it is now because it's like all things considered, if he had done Batman and did the trilogy, he could have gotten out almost perfectly before
mm,
Avengers came out,
yeah.
right? Where it's like, he could have done the Batman thing where it's considered like, ah, the gritty, Earth comparable version of Batman, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's almost like it's in our world, and then you get the slap happy, psychopaths that become the Avengers and all that, right?
Right. Yeah, I guess
Like,
so.
like I get where he's coming from because he was literally a teenage actor
Mhm.
during the Batman era, right? With like
Right.
well, maybe not Michael Keaton. I'm sure he watched it as Michael Keaton, but like
Yeah.
with Val Kilmer and George Clooney, and
Yeah.
that shit nearly tanked Clooney's career. Ooh man, and Val Kilmer, oh man, that ooh ooh.
And I was
Time
not
has
aware
not
about
been
that.
kind to Val Kilmer. And guess what? It's all because of that Batman movie. No, I'm kidding. It's
Interesting.
because of
Oh.
the laryngitis. Um, but yeah, I can totally understand where he's coming from. But all things considered, I'm not making like a statement on his judgment because like his judgment is perfectly fine. But like all things considered, Batman Begins 2005, Dark Knight 2008, Dark Knight Rises 2012. Like
Mhm.
Dark Knight is the movie that everyone, I think, kind of like collectively guffawed over and not
Yeah.
necessarily Iron Man in 2008.
It's true, yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, Iron Man was the movie that, like, that proved Marvel could enter that stage, and it was the one that started all of this shenanigans. But fucking Dark Knight is the classic that everyone like fucking loves, right? Partly because of,
Espe-
joke, but
right, especially
um
like that year.
yeah. And then 4 years later, barely 4 years later, The Dark Knight Rises, and it ends.
Yeah.
They don't get Christian Bale back for fucking BVS or anything. Like, that's it. And that's all right before or around the same time as the Avengers. Before all of that, before the 10-year period of just huge oversaturation of superhero films.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm not an actor. I don't know. um, but I just know that that's what he said during the interview, that he just didn't
I
want
can
to
almost see
be.
it. I can almost fucking see it.
Yeah, I
Damn.
don't know, man. Like, I'd have to rewatch the trilogy. It really, like, could he have done? Could he, would he have done a worse job? Could he have done a better job? Would it be like very
To be
similar?
fair, Christian Bale is fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's did a really good job. I mean, Christian Bale's a fantastic actor himself,
Yeah.
so it's like, you know,
You know what? For me, it's I think he would have done a great job with the Bruce Wayne portion, just because if you go back and watch like his like 1 minute fucking bit in Sin City, he's so fucking charming and debonair and all that shit. I think he could have done that like aloof billionaire pretty well, like really fucking well.
mm,
Uh, and the voice too, like he has like a very deep voice, and I get the impression that he can like ramp it up a little, which would have worked again with like the aloof Bruce Wayne, and then like, oh, I'm gonna fucking stop you, Ra's al Ghul. I'm gonna face fuck you to death.
mm,
Ah, like I could see it. I could see it.
yeah,
I could see it. I could see it if he got a fucking haircut and fixed up those sideburns.
fair enough. Man, but yeah, so, fucking Josh Hartnett, man, I'm stoked.
All right, I'm not
Oh,
body
the
shaming.
the the the, the other reason why I brought
I
up
am.
Christopher Nolan was because Christopher Nolan is coming out with another movie, and
Yep.
he got Josh Hartnett to be in that movie.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
I don't
know that.
I don't know what movie it is, but my phone
It's
obviously listens to my conversations, and Twitter was like, "Yo, you like Josh Hartnett? Here's all this Josh Hartnett news."
yeah,
I'm like, "Wow,
yeah,
okay,
you're part of the fan club now.
I guess
It's
so."
a biopic of is it Richard or Robert? I think it's Richard. Richard Oppenheimer. No, Robert. I want to say Robert, but it doesn't sound Oppenheimer, the guy who invented the atomic bomb or created the atomic bomb.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, yeah, it's his first like non-fictional film. Uh, it's also got Killian Murphy in it too. I don't remember all of the cast. I know that it's got Killian Murphy and Emily Blunt. I didn't know that it had Josh Hartnett in it.
Yeah,
But goddamn. Oh fuck. Speaking of trivia, fucking Killian Murphy also Scarecrow, by the way.
yeah.
Didn't just apply for the role of Scarecrow. He also applied for Bruce Wayne.
Interesting.
Yeah, if you actually look, he has an audition tape.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds
It
pretty kick-ass.
it doesn't I mean, he goes on to say like, "Oh, it just didn't work out and it I didn't quite get like the it didn't quite feel right or something along those lines." But like Nolan was like, "Yeah, but like I think you'd actually be really good for the other part that we have." And that's how it worked out as far as I know. But like he actually does a solid job. I don't think he has that same suave kind of effortlessness that Christian Bale has. But if
Yeah,
you go on, if you look, there's like a brief bit where he's flirting with the secretary in the beginning, and when he's I'm Batmaning Falcone,
yeah.
and it looks pretty solid, actually, I think.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, for
I'm gonna have
anyone who's
to.
interested, go look that shit up.
I'm
Killian
gonna have
Murphy,
to.
Cillian, because he's, fucking weird like that.
Yep.
Murphy, Batman audition.
But how do you spell Murphy?
Oh, fuck. Murphey, I think, or just Y. I don't know. God damn you, Harry. Fucking hate you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't hate you. I miss you.
um. But yeah, that's Operation Fortune. That was the main discussion at that point. Next
Oh,
movie,
that's yeah.
Nick Cage movie, which is called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It's Nicolas Cage playing himself. That's all anybody ever needs to know about that. And I'm stoked because Nick Cage is playing himself.
What's not to
Thoughts?
like? Yeah, like I said, what's not to like? Um, I'm still in recovery from Pig,
Okay.
like heavy recovery. It was such a somber fucking movie, and he was totally out of his usual uh God, Nicolas Cage-ness.
Yeah.
Like, I'll put it this way. Nicolas Cage at one point was actually really close to being a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving Las Vegas, I think, is a great one. Adaptation is another great film. Matchstick Men is okay. Uh, but there are so many like flickers of greatness in his performance.
Mm-hmm.
And except now he's just like a meme, right? And
Yeah.
Pig was, I think, another one of those performances where it's like, oh fuck, god damn it, he's still in there somewhere. I could save him. I could I can pull him out. Like I can pull him out of the weird fleshy like internet meme made man, right?
Yep.
And then I see the trailer for this where it's like, oh yes, I'm embracing like that I'm a meme. And it's like, oh God, he's going in another direction. Oh God, I hope this movie is so good. I hope. Anyway, uh, jokes aside, Nicolas Cage plays Nicolas Cage, who, man, this is so close to the chest. Having financial issues, decides to go to a dinner with a fan,
Yep.
and the fan is like this like billionaire island resort or island owning like fellow, and wacky Nicolas Cage hijinks ensue where Nicolas Cage is playing himself.
Yeah. No,
Ah, the more
I'm
the
excited.
more I just hear
It's
myself say it, we need to fucking watch this movie.
yes, we do, and we will. Um, but I'm excited. You're saying I always forget people's names. The actor who's playing the fan.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, he looks
Pasquale.
great in it. Uh, I don't know, man. It just it looks like a good time, and
It makes
that's
me wonder if Nicolas Cage is playing himself.
uh-huh.
Is Pedro Pascal playing a fan?
Or is he playing
Or is he
himself?
yeah, or is he an actual fan?
I dude, well that's the thing, right? Like as much as Nick Cage is a meme, like dude, that fool played some like really good roles.
Yeah.
He's classic, right? He almost played Superman. Um
Oh, fucking
so it's
right, the
like
Tim Burton movie.
yeah.
Jesus.
So it's like I don't know, man. Like I can see a lot of actors like being like, yeah, dude, I looked up to fucking Nicolas Cage. That fool fucking was a hero when I was
He
like
could become an
coming up.
actor, so could I.
Yeah, exactly. um yeah, I'm that's like yeah, I'm hella stoked for this movie. Uh Release date I don't remember. But
Yeah.
when it does come out, we're gonna watch it. It'll be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. I just it's so weird that movies like these get so much buzz. I remember like 10 years ago there was the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where Van
Okay.
Damme plays himself, and it's like it was a well-received movie for what it was apparently.
Mm,
Citing Jean-Claude Van Damme and his performance. And I'm just like, okay, so that's what's gonna happen with Nicolas Cage. It's gonna be a movie that like gives us greater insight to the actor by him playing an exaggerated version of himself. Okay, so the Wikipedia says Nicolas Cage, I can't. Nick Nicolas Cage begrudgingly accepts a $1 million offer to attend the birthday of a billionaire superfan. When things take a wild turn, Nick is forced to become a version of some. Nick is forced to become a version of some of his most iconic beloved characters in order to extricate his wife and daughter from the fan who is a notorious drug dealer. Oh man,
dope.
it just oh god, oh that's so disappointing. The ex-wife and the kid aren't his actual ex-wife and kid.
Mm.
Ah, shattered. I don't know. I'm interested in seeing like what Nicolas Cage can bring to the character of Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I at the very least, it'll be like any one of his other movies where you can go in and just laugh, but not like laugh because it's like good and enjoyable, but like laugh because it's like potato chips.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh god, I'm so angry that Pig was good. I am so fucking angry that Pig was good. You have no idea. Pig, fucking listen to this. Fucking listen to this.
Okay.
There's Prisoners of Ghostland and Willy's Wonder World in the same year as Pig. Fucking Prisoners of Ghostland is a strange, fucking weird sci-fi horror, low budget, like Orientalist fucking dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm.
And Willy's Wonderland is a fucking Five Nights at Freddy's parody horror comedy where Nicolas Cage doesn't say a fucking word. And then there's fucking Pig.
Mm.
Uh, mm.
I still haven't seen it, by the way.
God, I gotta stop hyping it. I gotta just say it's fucking
Yeah,
terrible.
stop.
But on the bright side, apparently Nicolas Cage did play Superman in Teen Titans Go the movie.
Really?
Yeah,
Is this
yeah.
is this the Oh, you said Teen Titans Go. Okay. Mhm.
Teeny Titans.
Interesting.
Oh man. Anyway, I can't. We get me the fuck off, Pig. Get it. Nah. Okay. So what are we on next?
Um, those are on my thing. That's like it when it comes to movies that are coming out. Um,
Okay.
so we can talk
So
about
if
movies that
I
we've
may,
seen. Oh, go for it. Go.
I want to talk about two things.
Yes.
I was going to mention, or I was going to discuss, uh, fuck, brain fart. I
Yeah.
was going to discuss Boba Fett
Mm-hmm.
for an extended period, but I'm going to talk about Hawkeye and Boba Fett.
Okay. Which one do you want to do 1st?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So Hawkeye, the finale, um,
Yes.
fuck, god damn it.
Okay.
So you and I both got out of the fucking theater for Spider-Man, and
Yes.
I immediately knew that if this character that we'll talk about in a moment
Hmm.
is in this movie, then that means fucking Kingpin has to be in the fucking the season finale of Hawkeye.
100%
And
correct.
we saw Spider-Man before the season finale of Hawkeye, or yeah, of Hawkeye.
Hmm.
So
Well, I'll say this: Kingpin was introduced at the very end of episode 5,
yeah,
which
yeah,
was
yeah,
before Spider-Man.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I walked into Spider-Man knowing, but I didn't know you didn't watch it. So that
Saw it
certain
and I was
character,
like,
when that certain
ugh.
character um, popped into the screen, I was like looking at you, and you're like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Okay, so he didn't see, he didn't see it, episode 5."
So fucking okay. So I'm gonna reserve my criticisms, which are petty, for
Yeah.
later.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I feel like let me point out first that Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy Renner actually do a really good job together. I think they make a solid team. They've
Hmm.
got good chemistry.
Yeah.
Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, I think is pretty good, and I think she's got a lot of room to grow, which I appreciate. I just hope we get her on a movie, like a big screen, soon,
Hmm.
because fuck, she's got like growing into a leader potential shit like written all over her. Renner, I really enjoy on his own, away from a couple Avengers, kind of doing his thing.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. The ending, I think, was a little messy. Like Yelena coming in at the last minute in the previous episode and just being like, "Ah, I want to kill this person," and then you know, half of the episode here is that like last minute third act revenge kind of thing that they tried to put in there. Um, I'm sorry, I haven't seen the episode in literally a couple weeks, so it's not
Yeah.
quite fresh in my head. The ending is finding out that the mother is involved in the Kingpin's organization. Um, her saying she wants out of the organization, and Kingpin kind of doing a veiled threat. Maya realizing that the Kingpin is the one who did the killinating, or at least set uh, Ronan to get her father, just kind of to wax the competition, or
Mm.
some lingering competition within the family. Um, Bishop and Barton kind of do a little uh, canvassing inside one of Kate Bishop's mother's parties, along with a couple of the LARPers. Um, and then, God damn it, it's like stuff happens,
Yeah.
but nothing important happens in these fucking episodes. Um, the friend of Maya, who was tasked with assassinating Kate Bishop's mother, also notices that the Hawkeye is there, attempts to assassinate him as well. A fight ensues because uh, Kingpin's assassin is there. Maya's going to be on the scene soon, and Yelena's there. All the while, Kate is trying to like apprehend, keep safe her mother.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. God, I'm gonna ruin. It's just ruining the. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking
Nope.
matter. I don't need to go over the thing. Anyway, um, I thought this series was overall enjoyable.
Hmm.
Um, I, you know me, I tend to want. I don't necessarily want them to go darker, but I would really like them to do maybe a little bit less and focus on like lasting changes or important questions that characters have to face. Like, oh, cool. Like, Hawkeye might never really get an average life with his family, and you know, and that's something that like Kate Bishop kind of has to understand is that her life isn't going to be the same after becoming a hero or like a superhero,
Right.
or the consequences of your actions, or trying to escape the life that you lived previously. Like, these are things that are kind of brought up and dropped a little bit. Yelena is the thing that kind of tries to bring that back in a way that really I didn't have any like strong emotions to either way. She gets to confront Barton, and then in that like typical hit you until I cry and vent out my emotions kind of thing, it's
Hmm.
resolved, you know? Uh I don't know. It didn't quite work for me. Uh but yeah. Anyway, let's get to what really matters, okay?
Hmm.
Kingpin. Um I really do love Vincent D'Onofrio. I love every part of that man, but
Hmm.
I really had an issue with the Kingpin being a fucking supervillain. And I mean
Right.
super in like the super villain portion. Um Listen, I'm not trying to nitpick. I'm really not. It's just like part of what I loved about Dead I almost said Deadpool. Daredevil's Kingpin. And they're the same character. I'm not going to pretend that they're not. They're the same character. But Daredevil's Kingpin, I think, was far more vulnerable in a physical way, but still very vicious and intimidating. And uh, the whole time when we figure out, like, that this guy can take a fucking arrow to the chest, literally take an arrow to the chest, get hit by a car, electrocuted, thrown like 50 feet, shot probably, because so help me God, if he died, actually died at the end of that fucking episode. I was thinking to myself, "Oh wow, now he can totally go toe to toe with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Amazing." Whereas in the Daredevil show, he had the strength of like fucking a really really strong bodybuilder and not like ungodly invincibility. Like, I get like apparently there's some trivia that like he has this vault built in the comics that doesn't have like a lock or a passcode. It's literally a fucking vault that opens based off of like his own strength. Like, he's so inhumanly strong that all he has to do is just like lift this like titanium slab. It's not an issue of like coding or whatnot. It's the fact that he's so fucking strong as opposed to normal people. But like, mm, mm,
Yeah.
because that means now fucking Daredevil has to be supernatural. Like, I get that there's a supernatural quality to him in the show, but like, I'm worried that because fucking Kingpin is super villained, like with super fucking villain strength, Daredevil has to be like fucking Ben Affleck Daredevil now, where it's like he could fucking catch a bullet with his ass cheeks while backflipping. It's like, oh yeah, I just heard it. Fucking anyway. Um, Vincent D'Onofrio, yay. The fact that he literally has super strength, nay. Um, like I said, fucking, you have the tracksuit mafia, and they're doing, oh, I love Imagine Dragons, and they're like, oh, hey, don't hit me, I have to kill you, but I fixed the issue with my wife,
Yeah.
haha. And then you have the fucking face twitching, intimidating bad guy with like the Machiavellian like backstory, like as the head of these fucking jamokes. Are you kidding me? Like, this is what happens when like oh god, I can't. The show is good. I like the show. I liked like I, it's nothing to fucking rave about, but it was good. Okay, I liked it. I thought, just like every one of these shows, there seems to be one extra thing that they put in the show to heighten the stakes or add a wrench into the story, and it like I think makes the third act of each of these shows stumble a bit, and I can't tell if it's Yelena
Mm,
or Kingpin that is that. I would argue that it's probably Kingpin that does that. I would have liked way, way, way more if it was just like these random tracksuit fuckers and then they're being hunted by a fucking Terminator, Black Widow, and some shit happens. But
yeah,
like, I don't know. Mm, they just took like the most human evil character that I can think of. Like, yeah, I like Mysterio. I like Mysterio because he's like pretty fucking silly and he's over the
yeah,
top. Like people like Killmonger because at least like you can empathize with some of his motivations or at least like the reasoning behind his motivations that he's like this orphaned kid. Um, but Kingpin I think is like one of the best fucking villains that they had, right? It's like he has this rage in him and he does it his strength doesn't stem from fucking superpowers, the fact that like the guy was born the size of two dump trucks by the time like he was like fucking 3. No, it just I don't know,
mm,
fucking
mm.
it's
It's
so
okay.
tough.
They're gonna make it work, dude. They're gonna make it work.
They better. No, no, it's fine. I'm honestly fine with it. I like Vincent D'Onofrio. I just didn't care that they made him fatter. And by that I simply mean like I'm sorry, wrong choice of words. Um, they put padding on him. Did you notice that?
No, because I've never seen the Daredevil series.
No, 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 no. I mean in the Hawkeye show.
No, I just what do you mean padding? Like,
They gave him more padding to make him look thicker
no,
in
I
his
just
suit. Anyway,
I just figured it was just padding overall. I don't think that, or I don't know. I've never seen that actor outside of what I've seen him in Hawkeye. So
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Come on,
Okay.
man.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. 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 All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Livy
Yeah.
did tell me that. I just completely forgot. Uh,
You're welcome, man.
um, padding. Yes. Yes. There was padding on him.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel as though it's a little copy and paste and the paste doesn't quite fit. But
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it a try. Just I know first time appearances for characters can feel a little out of place, out of sorts, and it'll take a little while for him to get acquainted with the universe that he's in. I just don't think this franchise will lend itself to a nuanced Kingpin that was in the Daredevil show.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
making him a super, super strong, unkillable dude, I think is the first step of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, scene. Um,
See.
I wanted to talk about Boba. You persuaded me to with facts and logic,
Yep.
even though you haven't seen it yet.
Correct.
Even though I want you to see it so that we can actually discuss it. Not that I'm like coming from like a huge Star Wars fanboy side, but like
Mm.
you know, I don't want you to feel left out of the conversation because I fucking hate when I'm just rambling.
Okay.
Um, okay, so 2 episodes of The Book of Boba Fett are
Mm.
out. Um, and it appears that the show is
Mm.
diving into 2 separate time points in time in
Oh, interesting.
Boba's story. Uh, one of them is immediately after he breaks out of the Sarlacc creature that killed him, uh in Return of the Jedi,
Yeah.
and then 5 years later after his little stint with the Mando, trying to carve out a fiefdom for himself, in Tatooine.
Okay.
amongst the disarray following Jabba's death in the 5 years following.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Let me first say this thing that I am saying first is Temuera Morrison, the actor who played Jango Fett, Boba Fett's voice, um, the fucking voice and facial likeness for the clones, for other characters. The guy who's pretty much been technically the more recognizable aspect of Star Wars for the last 16 years, um, finally gets to be the main character, like the leading actor in a
Yeah.
Star Wars performance. I like Tamir Morrison. Um, I think he adds a fun layer to the character of Boba Fett. You can tell that he imbues. I'm probably going to mispronounce it, and I apologize. He imbues a Pacific Islander, indigenous New Zealand kind of like vibe to the
Mm-hmm.
character. Um, and that's something that I think the filmmakers were conscious of too. Uh, I believe it's Maori or indigenous, someone who's indigenous to New Zealand,
Is it
Polynesian,
what's is it Mari?
Maori or Maori.
Mari? New Zealand indigenous people? How was it? Maori.
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 Okay. Maori. Okay. He's pretty likable in this.
Mm.
I really enjoy his performance. Um, Ming Na Wen, at the moment, I haven't seen enough screen time from. She's good in The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I really want to see more of her, and I would like her and Tamira Morrison to have more conflict or animosity between them because I think that should be the main uh, premise of this story. The the friendliness and the conflict that these two can have. Anyway, um, Ludwig Göransson, I think his name is the composer who did Black Panther and The Mandalorian, is in this. Um, the work does sound a little, I don't want to say derivative. Yeah, you know, it sounds a little derivative of The Mandalorian, but still has a very distinct flavor, and I do appreciate that. Ludwig Göransson or Göransson or something uh, has a very likable musical eye, especially when it comes to Star Wars, in my opinion. Uh, he somehow manages to capture at the same time westerns and some kind of Japanese samurai style film like 47 Ronin or Magnificent Seven, which is typically what Star Wars is most often pulled from. Lots of westerns, lots of Japanese cinema, um, some Arthurian legend, and so on and so forth. Um, so I give that credit where credit is due. The actors and the atmosphere at the moment. I do have some issues with the story,
Mm-hmm. Of
if I may.
course.
Okay. So the contemporary or the up to date story is Boba Fett with Fennec Shan, Ming Na Wen's character, um, recently or newly taking control of Mos Espa, I think it is. Doesn't matter, a town or a fiefdom on Tatooine, and are now slowly realizing that they're going to have to contend, probably violently, for that seat amongst the power vacuum. A bunch of other people seem to be wanting the region and wanting the power that comes with it. And at the same time, like I said before, the other portion of the story is Boba kind of how he loses his armor, how he essentially gets to the point and state of being that we see him in The Mandalorian. And that is in the form of him being picked up, trained, and accepted by the Tusken Raiders.
Oh,
Um, in episode 1, it's half and half,
okay.
which I take issue with because I don't care necessarily what happened in that 5-year period. Um, the idea of going backwards and figuring out what he's done in those last 5 years could be interesting if there wasn't an already interesting premise set up, which I already feel like they're already kind of squandering a bit, which is Boba Fett is in charge of this fiefdom, and he now has to kind of navigate keeping that area.
Yeah.
And that's half the episode. That's only half.
Hmm.
So instead of telling you this contemporary story now, or not contemporary, but this story set in their present where he's trying to navigate the pitfalls of the underworld, we have to go back twice to him digging for water
Hmm.
and fucking strangling a monster to death and slowly gaining the trust of the Tusken Raiders. It bogs, either story gets bogged down, and I'm in favor of the one where he's, you know, where it's after the 5 years instead of going back and just telling you the story.
Hmm.
Um, and it also feels more like something out of a Mandalorian episode and not a Boba Fett episode. Um, the second episode, only a third of it is set in the modern contemporary time period. And then the other two-thirds are him now being fully accepted by the Tusken Raiders. Now, like this episode, I still enjoy the Tusken Raider stuff. Like it's fun, it's enjoyable. It looks like Tamira Morrison's having fun. But again, you're sidetracking the more important story that progresses Boba Fett to tell us how he got there. And I really think it hampers the story. It hampers the pace, it hampers like the room that we are going to have with telling in the next like what, 8 episodes if we get 8, or what about 6?
Yeah.
So that's the first main issue that I
Okay.
have. The second is I feel like Boba Fett at the moment has very poor characterization. What I mean by that is like we don't he's very poorly defined as a character.
Oh.
Um so let's see. In the beginning of the first episode, uh Boba Fett is sitting on his throne, he's accepting tithings or tribute from local areas, and he has a couple options of like executing a couple people or sending a message rather violently to other people, and he chooses not to. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, he's a little merciful, yada yada. uh Maybe he wants to turn over a new leaf. And then he finds out that a local mayor of an area doesn't want to pay him, so they go to this area, and you know he gets uh he gets ambushed. And the point that I'm getting to is uh the character is incongruent with the Boba Fett that I think people know, the ruthless cutthroat bounty hunter. Um i feel as though the main crux of the story is going to be, do you want to be a person who is respected, or do you want to be a person that's feared? And that's something that Boba Fett talks about in the first episode. uh Fennec Shan talks about, oh, it might have been better to like kill these people, or it might have been better to accept the local customs and be feared and so on. And Boba Fett says, no, that's not how I want to do it, I want to be respected.
Mhm.
And that's fine. Like, I think that could make an interesting thing where it's like, I don't want to be the ruthless fucker anymore, but I might have to be. That's always interesting, right? But
Right.
that hasn't been set up
Mm.
at all.
Okay.
So, like, Boba Fett is like this, like, slightly, like, bumbling, like, guy in this.
Hmm.
And Stace and I were saying, well, like, well, maybe he had like a change of heart uh after getting out of the Sarlacc pit, right? And I was thinking that too, uh, except he still acts kind of the same way
Mm.
when he's with the Tusken Raiders, and I think it hurts the show that they kind of give him this like middle of the road kind of demeanor. Uh, I think it would have been more interesting if, like, in the beginning of the series, he's still Boba Fett the bastard, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're talking about the guy who the only real line of dialogue he has in the entire film franchise is when Han Solo is frozen in carbonite, and he literally says to Darth Vader, "What if he doesn't survive? What if he doesn't survive? He's no good to me dead." Right? Where it's like
Mm.
there's a ruthless thing to him, and that is the only real characterization that we can get from him, right?
Yeah.
And that's thrown away. Let's make that abundantly clear. That's thrown away. We're talking about a guy who his original armor has like a braid on his shoulder of Wookiee fur, right? From killing and
Mhm.
bringing in Wookiee bounties. Um, this is the guy who like we like him because he's a badass in the show or in the movie for like a moment, and the comics made him a badass, and the movies made him like retroactively a badass. But like, there's a lot of material that shows like he's a pretty awful, pretty, pretty despicable person, and
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been great if the story was about a guy who is stranded on this planet, kind of dials it down a bit and finds absolution, not absolution, but like peace on this planet, right? And then, he decides to help the Mando and he comes back. But like it doesn't make sense that this kind of character wants to be respected and do all this, but then wants to be a crime boss. I don't
Right.
I feel like I'm inarticulately talking about this because I've been talking about this like two or three times with other people, and I
Mm.
managed to get my point across. I'm not saying that I'm not getting it across. I feel as though I'm hitting this nail a bit too many times. Uh, because I feel at the end of this show, the whole Tusken Raider thing and him becoming a mob boss are not going to like coincide at all, like at all. Like I think it's going to be nice backstory, and then that's going to be it.
Right.
And I feel like a way that you could maximize the quality of the story and the point of what you know the main conflict. Do you want to be respected or feared? I would really love if the Tusken Raiders actually took a larger part in the contemporary story. Because by the end of the second episode, Boba helps save the tribe that he has now become, friendly with. And he's given them some weapons that he gets from helping raid a settlement, and they've gotten stronger as a tribe. I would love if in growing his criminal empire, uh, the Tusken Raiders, have kind of encroached on human settlements and are becoming a little more violent, or if like the mob, the space mob, is kind of encroaching on Tusken Raider area and they're fighting back, and Boba has to make a choice, right?
Mm.
Do I help these people who are all, for intensive purposes, essentially Mandalorians, right? Like He's not a Mandalorian.
Mm.
His father was a Mandalorian. He never got that culture. And, in this early, like, I live with these people kind of thing, he's essentially living with Mandalorians, right? Nomadic,
Right.
tribalist, fiercely hierarchical, uh, nomads. And he
Yeah.
develops a kinship with them. What happens if, you know, the what happens if the people that gave you, a belonging, a home, an identity, what if they get in the way of the person that you want to be, right? I think that'd be
Mm.
great. At the end, like, you could do a thing where he stabs them in the back, or in the end he saves them, but it comes at the cost of their trust, or something like something to get the Disney out of it, right?
Yeah.
Because what came across in my head the entire time is that this is very middle of the road. You know,
Okay.
they know that Mando kind of has that general appeal, and they toned down, I think, the moodiness, the and maybe some of the questionable stuff that Boba Fett is, in favor of making like oh, he's a more badass, like, I don't know, kind of character. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going about this. I feel I've gotten my point across. I don't need to discuss it anymore, but I feel like I just did a color in the lines of Mona Lisa with a crayon.
Mm. I mean,
But anyway,
yeah.
watch it with that glowing recommendation.
Sounds good.
Fuck it.
Yeah. I'll watch it. I'll sit down and watch it at some point. It just it never. Even the Mandalorian, like when it first came out, I was kind of like, eh. It's just I think I saw in the second season, uh, uh, when that came out. So I didn't even see the first season when it first came out. So, um, yeah. Well, I'll definitely sit down and watch it. Just um, it won't be on my top priority because there's other stuff. I still need to catch up on Arcane. Um, and
You
that's a
son
show
of
that
a bitch.
I really liked the first three episodes. I just need to keep watching. Um,
Goddamn right
so
you got to. It's still really good, folks. I might
yeah,
actually watch it again.
yeah. I mean, yeah. So that's on my to do list. Um, yeah, but Boba unfortunately is not totally like my number one thing to do right now.
Catch it when you catch it, but I'll
Yeah,
keep you updated. I'll try not to spoil too much of it. It
it's fine.
looks interesting. Again,
Hmm.
the mob turf warfare thing I think is the interesting part.
Yeah.
It's just odd that you have a character who kind of essentially wants to take like the pacifist path and
Hmm.
has been removed or distanced from his like violent, like, kind of backstory and behavior, and wants
Yeah.
to be like the benevolent good guy without really explaining or going through like how the character got to that point. That's all.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, Bear, what
Yes.
next?
Um. So, come with that, we can talk about the movies that we actually watched in theaters.
Fuck yeah. What do you want to go with
Uh,
first? Fresh
let's
in our
go.
memory or superheroes?
Let's just do superheroes.
Fuck yeah.
Spider-Man. Was really good.
Arachnafella.
Yeah. We knew we knew Tobey Maguire and forgot the other guy's name.
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew
God damn it,
Garfield.
man.
We already figured they were gonna be in it.
Yeah.
But it was still cool seeing them. Like it was still a cool
Mhm.
experience to see them when they popped up. Um, yeah, seeing all the old villains was cool too.
Mhm.
Everything about it was great. I think the ending was good too. I was telling you that I like that. Um, they got they had a Peter Parker who went through high school with all the Avenger stuff, and then now he's back to square one where nobody knows him. He's probably gonna have a
Literally.
part-time job, and he's gonna be living alone and trying to figure out the Spider-Man stuff. Kind of like
Hmm.
how Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was doing it. Um, so yeah, I think that's great. I really
Oh yeah.
um I'm excited to see where it goes. Who he's going to be teaming up with. Obviously, he's still owned by Sony, so you
Yeah,
know.
I don't I our friends and everyone who didn't care quite as much were probably right. I don't think there's even really an issue. I think he's gonna stay in the franchise, and uh fucking Sony's gonna make a shitload of money off of him being in the MCU, and they'll figure out a way to peacefully eject him from the franchise when they need to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's okay. I mean, it's
Hmm.
not make or break that
Yeah.
he's in it. So,
Hmm.
but I like where they're going right now.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely.
um,
Um, what else did you like about it, bud? Fill me in. Tell me. Talk to me.
um, what else did I like? No, man. Again, when did we watch this? Like 2, 3 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago, man. But all I know is I really enjoyed it. Um, uh, I was intrigued. I mean, obviously, I wanted to see Venom, but I'm also okay
My
that they didn't
God.
put it. Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, obviously, spoiler alert. You know, Venom kind of left a piece of himself behind, but we'll see how they do that. It sucks that it's not gonna be what's his face, Tom Hardy,
Yeah, I'm sure
but
we'll get like Tom Hardy voicing Venom without, Tom Hardy. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. I made
mm,
that fucking complaint as soon as the fucking movie ended.
mm,
So let's see. Spider-Man has been unveiled. Fucking Daredevil gets him off on a technicality.
mm-hmm,
Uh, uh fucking his life is awful. He gets Doctor Strange to hide his identity, i.e., everyone forgets he exists. Except he's like, no, wait, what about my friends? What about Mama? What about Aunt May? Ah, da, 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 da. And the more and more he keeps saying that, the more and more it fucks up Doctor Strange's spell,
yeah,
causing a rift to open and bring in everyone who knows who Peter Parker is. That brings in Doc Ock. That brings in uh, Green Goblin, Sandman, Electro, Lizard, each from the other two Spider-Man universes, as well as the other two Spider persons.
mm,
So, jumping ahead a bit, sorry.
yeah,
Spider-Man and Strange, with the help of Ned and MJ, um, capture all of the escaped multiverse characters or detain them. Uh, Strange says we're going to send them back, and then we find out that all of them died in their universes, and sending them back would probably spell certain death for them.
yeah,
Um, Peter's like, "Oh no, I can't fucking do that," so he traps Strange in his own mirror dimension thing,
and then he
and
gets out.
tries to, yeah, exactly, fucking pussy ass Strange man, but no, uh, Parker, with the help of Otto Octavius and Norman Osborn, try to help create a cure for everyone. Norman Osborn, the alter ego of the Green Goblin, comes through, wrecks everything, persuades a couple of these Ferocious Five. We're not going with Sinister Six. Oh god, it would have been perfect with Venom. No, no, it wouldn't have. No, no. Osborn Green Goblin convinces the couple of them to join his side, and like, we can live as gods. um, gets into a fight with uh, Spider-Man, incapacitates him, kills May. Ho ho ho! Yeah, awful fucking moment. It's at that moment that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is introduced and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man are introduced, and they kind of pep talk uh uh Jesus, Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Uh there's some really, really great banter between all these characters. They work together, they cure a bunch of the other characters just in time for Strange to close the rift that has been getting worse because of their existence in the MCU, sends them all back, and at the same time finishes the spell. Uh, Peter goes through this world without anyone fucking knowing his identity. Not like that he's Spider-Man, just not knowing that he fucking exists. He goes to Aunt May's funeral, sees Happy Hogan, who has like a weird obsession crush, which is really weird when you realize that like May wasn't into him and like he's fawning over. Anyway, doesn't recognize him. Fucking asks why he's at his own aunt's fucking funeral. Like this fucker is a ghost. He got fucking ghosted. Anyway, he leaves behind MJ and Ned, promises to try to find a way to uh snap them out of the spell, but keeps his distance to make sure that they're safe. Makes a brand new suit that has what I would imagine is probably no Stark tech in it from scratch, and decides to be the Spider-Man that everyone knows and feels really fucking bad for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, End credit scene one is Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock, um, essentially fucking catching up on the last like 20 something Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Oh, so what you're saying is there's a purple guy who really likes rocks, and
Yeah.
then there's a green guy who gets green when he's angry, and then he just fucking teleports back to his dimension.
Yeah.
That's it. That's fucking it. That's fucking it. Oh, but wait, the dimension hopping left a piece of Venom in the MCU. Ho ho ho! So okay, real talk.
Real talk.
I say I'm gonna get straight to the point and say, with the exception of Sandman,
Mm-hmm.
I think they gave every one of these villains, I think, a good send off. I only say Sandman. I like Thomas Jane's performance, all that. Or Thomas Topher, not Topher Grace. Thomas doesn't matter. Hayden Church. Um, I just feel like he wasn't really a bad guy. He didn't really have any reason to fight. So I just thought it was like weird that they're making him like one of those guys. Anyway, besides the point. Um, this is probably the most enjoyable I think I've seen Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Um,
Mm-hmm.
really laying on the misery and the loneliness and the pain that comes with being Spider-Man. The previous two movies have really done a solid job with like, oh hey, like you're gonna have to make choices, and these choices are never gonna be easy, and whichever choice you make is always gonna have consequences. You know,
Right.
the first one, it's like, oh hey, stop this arms dealer. You don't get to go to prom. Oh hey, you know, trust this guy who is manipulating your your vulnerability because of the loss of your father figure. Yeah, people are going to manipulate you every step of the way. The third one, yeah, people are going to die, and you need to live with that. Um, the movie does a solid job at kind of solving the Spider-Man criminal issue right off the bat by giving Matt Murdock a chance to come in, do his lawyer thing for like 5 seconds, and fuck off. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. He, we'll probably get more of the two of them together. Uh, I'm interested in seeing, Daredevil and Spider-Man together, maybe once or twice. Um, and maybe, hopefully, we'll get the chance to see Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four because he has partnered with them before. That'll be really
Yeah.
fun. But yeah, the idea is that they're all looking forward to their future, right? At MIT, and Spider-Man gets in the way of that future for Peter.
Yeah.
As Strange puts it, you're trying to live two lives, and the same thing that Green Goblin says as well. Uh, every one of the characters, like I said, just gives a great performance. Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin is always great.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, man, he just lays it on. It's almost like he didn't even. This movie might as well have been made like a year after fucking Spider-Man 2002. Like,
Yeah.
just he effortlessly gets back into the fucking part. Um,
It's
God,
insane.
Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. Oh man, heartfelt. There's a great moment uh near the end when him and Toby Maguire have a moment where they kind of like, "Oh, Peter, it's good to see you. How you doing?" And Toby Maguire harkens back to the previous trilogy. He's like, I'm trying. I'm trying. But it's something that he said in the original trilogy. But like
Mm.
then you had Andrew Garfield, who I really did enjoy as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He got so much shit for the Amazing Spider-Man stuff that was out of his control, you know,
Mm-hmm.
stuff that wasn't even like rightfully his fault. Not that any of that movie or those movies were his fault, or not that they were even bad. They just weren't particularly great. And it's heartbreaking hearing an interview, I think, with him where he, talks about like, you know, I've always wanted to be Spider-Man, and then like you're hated for it. He's the
Yeah.
only one of the three who I think gets like shit on for it. And it's it's actually really sweet that like when we watched the movie, you know, he got cheers
Mm-hmm.
when he came onto the screen. And there were some bits that I think everyone was aware of kind of the situation he was in and jokes were made about it. I wasn't quite a fan. I would have preferred, maybe some less self-aware jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Um but I think they handled the introduction of all three of these characters well. I know I've been pretty hard on like the whole multiverse, copying pasting characters from another universe to this one, but I thought this was probably as good as they were going to do it, and they did a really good job.
Yeah.
It didn't feel too pandery. It didn't feel too like. I mean, of course, it was fan servicey. It's like fucking, of
Right.
course it is. But there are some really, really heartfelt moments. There are surprisingly few moments where they do the typical like comedy for the sake of comedy. You know what I mean, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
you've got some like guy in the side of the camera who's just turning red from like not being able to do jokes, and then he just blurts them all out like 5 minutes or 5 minute at a time.
Mm-hmm.
That's an MCU movie,
Yeah.
and I really appreciated that all three of them kind of worked very well off one another without having to tell jokes. There
Yep.
was a lot of like, oh hey, how can I learn, to be, a better person based off of what you did or what you lost, and like, hey, don't make these mistakes, the things that we know that we've done, and so on and so forth. They that not to say that there weren't some funny moments, there were, but I appreciated that it wasn't just like the Three Stooges with Spider-Man outfits on. It was an attempt to actually try to tell some fun,
Yeah.
uh, not tell some fun stories, but like an attempt to to use that in a constructive way. These two other spider people. Um, I still, for the life of me, um, think that Into the Spider Verse is a superior like mentor. Let's all meet the spider people kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is probably the best for the MCU that they could have done. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Really fucking sad. Spider-Man seems to like tonally get like shafted every time. Like, oh hey, I have to learn to like make choices that I'm not always gonna like, and like, hey, I'm being emotionally manipulated. And like, oh hey, no one fucking knows I exist, and like I can't get any consolation for that because my aunt's dead, and yeah, a wizard wiped out everyone's memory of me. And then every
Yeah.
other fucking movie, it's like treated comedically, right? Or not comedically, but like lighthearted.
Yeah.
Like the the fucking I can't begin to tell you how like looking back on it, how silly it is that like Thor has a really emotional arc, or not arc, but has a really emotional moment, right? Where it's like, oh hey, I have to like grapple with some self-realizations uh about like destiny and how I feel my places in the universe. Oh look, I killed Thanos. It didn't bring everyone back. And like 5 years of like emotional turmoil is all thrown away for the joke about making him fat, right? Like, oh no,
Yeah.
it's not the fact that like he's got some emotional baggage to deal with, the
Mm-hmm.
crushing weight of responsibility. It's nah, he's fat. That's fine. He's fat. We'll put in an emotional joke later. Or like, Tony Stark losing, essentially his son right then and there, or a
Yeah.
bunch of other people, losing other shit. It's like MCU does a really good job, and I don't necessarily mean this as a compliment, at taking like what can be emotional content and churning it out so that it's not emotional. And I really appreciated that like they managed to really make you feel alone, or give you the impression that like Peter's alone, like
Yeah.
alone, and he has to build himself up from that if he can at all. I'm interested in seeing what they do. I honestly don't doubt that they'll probably do some bullshit where it's like, "Oh, hey Parker, we found a spell to fucking make you remember or make everyone remember everything again," or like he fucking does something and everyone remembers. I will bet my hat that something like that happens. Or not. Or they could do
Mm,
Into the
no.
Spider-Verse where like he
Yeah.
dies.
I think because like the superheroes technically can figure out like because they know they did things with Spider-Man. All Peter Parker has to do is show his face, like, "Oh yeah, I'm Peter Parker." Like, that's it. But like, yeah, for like all the people he grew up with, they don't, they won't know. So I don't know. It just seemed like at the very end, right?
Mhm.
Um, I think he realized that like they were happy, his friends. That like maybe he doesn't like he knows he promised, but at the same time, like
And they're safe.
they're safe.
Hmm.
You know, like in the end, they're not gonna know, right? They're not gonna like know that he didn't come after him right away, or
Hmm.
whatever, right? Like he could have been like, oh, I was Spider Man. I had to, do stuff, and you know what I mean. Like I think in the end, he's just Spider Man. He ends up just yes alone, but he that's just part of being a superhero, right? Like it's like what was going on with Hawkeye, right? Like it's just part of being a hero. Like you're not there for Christmas, It's like it is what it is. Like this is the stuff that you have to accept. And yeah. So Um, I don't know. Like I think the end. That's why I liked it. Like the way they ended it. It's just like Peter's put in a position where he's yeah. It seems like he just kind of walked away because maybe he's like, oh, I'll come back later. But I think he walked away in the sense of like this. I am Spider Man. I used to be
Yeah,
Peter
I
Parker.
can't have that anymore.
No, like I am Spider Man. I'm here to keep them safe, and the safest place I can keep them is out of my life.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. And then I think did we talk about maybe Gwen Stacy coming in or something like that? Possibly now, or
No,
because
they didn't really like. I
well, they
could.
didn't say anything up. But what I'm saying is like down the road, maybe either that or because he has relationships with other superheroes in the
Mhm.
comics, so there is a possibility of that. Um,
Some fan was like, "Oh, wouldn't it be great if they brought back one of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies and the multiverse shit happens to him, except it's Gwen Stacy, except the Spider-Gwen version of Gwen Stacy."
oh,
I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool."
I mean that is a possibility in this one, right?
I
Like
could see it. Like
there's
the thing with the whole multiverse thing, as much as I rag on it, it does create unlimited opportunities where
yeah,
anything could really happen. So
we shall
we
see.
shall see.
I'm not stoked about that. I'm not stoked about the situation where it's like, oh, we can just bring people back from the dead. Like, I'm still not a fan of that. I hope they don't go down that route. But I guess because we did, off topic, we discussed a situation where like it's harder to re bring someone in like an actor to replay a role than it is than like feels like animated. You can just redraw the character, right? But like
Oh yeah,
it's hard to bring an actor back because one, they have to agree to it, right? Two, like you can tell with Tobey Maguire, like he got old. He's older,
yeah,
man. Um, so it's like it's hard in those situations. Like, are they gonna be like guy who played Wolverine, Hugh Jackman? Like,
yeah.
could he like if they revived um or I mean at some point they're gonna bring back the X-Men, but like they can't bring him back. Like he's much older than he was when the X-Men first came out. Like
Oh yeah,
he doesn't look like Logan anymore. Like sorry, let me rephrase that. He doesn't look like Wolverine anymore. He looks like Logan, which there's a reason why that movie was so fucking great. Like still
yeah.
like do I feel like it is my favorite superhero movie. Like
It's a
if
really
it
good
can
one.
it's a really good one. Like I feel like I wouldn't it's I know it has superheroes in it, but at the same time I feel like it's not really a superhero movie because it's
It's a western with
yeah,
adamantium claws.
exactly. So but anyways, it's just that kind of stuff. So it's like like bringing people back from the dead, like it has to be someone different. Like I
Hmm.
think the multiverse bringing different people, right? Like I think I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, it really set it up right. Where like if we do bring someone back from the dead, it's not going to be the exact same person that you remember. So, I mean, they kind of got me there. So, like,
Gotcha.
I just don't like it. I
Yeah.
don't like that they're just like, oh, we can just bring someone back. Like, you know, the whole thing with Hawkeye and Black Widow. It's like if they just brought Black Widow back. It's like wow, that kind of defeated the purpose of like him
If it
going through
makes you
that.
feel any better, she's not ever coming back.
Yeah,
It was
I know.
just for the what if stuff.
Yeah, um it's just that's just an example, right? Like I know
Yeah.
that's not gonna happen again. Like it's like again with like Robert Downey Jr. with Iron Man, Chris Evans with Captain America. Like they're just not coming back. Are the like at least actors wise, right? But like are the characters gonna come back in a different form, right? A different like whatever, right? Like a different actor
Mhm.
playing a different type of Iron Man or whatever. Maybe I don't know how to feel. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I think once it comes out, then I'll see how I feel because it depends on how they do it, right? You know, it's like they could do it correctly or they could do it horribly wrong, and I'm not going to be a happy camper. But we won't know until they do something, and I don't know
I
what
get
that
where you're
is.
coming from.
Yeah,
I feel I do feel like I'm on the fences with it. I don't inherently think it's bad to be like, "Oh, hey, this character died, we're going to bring him back."
yeah,
Um I think I know where you're coming from in the sense that like, oh, it's like a cheap way to like you know, get people's attention, like to effortlessly get someone's attention. Um or like it's like cheap and lazy way of like writing someone into a story or something. Um I'm just yeah. No, no, I hear where you're coming from. I think there's some ways where it could be done well. Like again, I could like rationalize the whole multiverse thing. It's like what if she gets to exist in another universe it's not have been enjoying for like the last 10, 12, however many years.
right,
Um but you know like it's something. And I don't mind that they're using the character like it's animation. It's not Scarlett Johansson doing the voice. We can get away with using, you know, that character and someone who sounds vaguely like Scarlett Johansson for like other media, and that's fine. Like it works, in my opinion. It works. I think
yeah,
the voice actress who does I almost said Scarlet Witch, Black Widow does a great job. I think uh, that character's presence in the What If series is actually pretty good, and I think the mirroring of Hawkeye and Black Widow's bit in the second to last episode with Ultron, I thought was pretty enjoyable actually.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I can understand where it's like, oh, now we're just mining these characters, right? Where it's like there's no consideration for like, oh, well, like are we just doing this just to please fans? Are we just doing it just to like bring a character back? Are we just doing it to like make money off of their likeness being in this movie? Like I get it. I do. But I don't have much of an opinion on it quite yet. I don't have like
Yeah,
a solid opinion. I actually don't have a solid opinion on it. I don't have a hard opinion on like, oh, well, in what context is it okay to bring someone back who's dead versus who's not, or someone who's like been in another franchise owned by another group, like X-Men, like you were saying with Logan. It's like, okay, well, are we gonna recast the character? Are they naturally going to be in the MCU, or is it going to be some universe bullshit? And if it
right.
is, are they just gonna pull all the actors? Like, who are they gonna do? Are they gonna get fucking the actors, the 50-something-year-old actors who were in the first couple of X-Men movies? Are they gonna get the kids
Yeah, the
that
younger ones
like
or
that no one wanted to give a fucking second chance to? Uh, like, what's going on here? Like, what is it? Come on now.
yeah, I guess we'll find out when that
Yeah,
time comes.
yeah.
Um,
I get you.
but no, it's just me being picky about things.
It's okay.
But yeah, Spider-Man though, overall was fantastic, and um, if it's ever on TV, I'll rewatch it.
Fuck yeah. Or I'll just
Um,
send you like 2-minute clips on YouTube at a
mm,
time until you've seen the whole movie again.
that is a possibility. Because then I would have no choice. I'd just like look at my phone, open the message, and be like, "Oh shit, it's 2 minutes of Spider-Man."
Yeah.
Um, there is. Are you okay with moving on to the next movie, or you have
Yeah, of course.
final moments? Okay.
I'm
Um,
I'm scatterbrained, so like I have no like tangible fucking understanding of anything at the moment other
that's
than like
perfect because this movie, I don't know. I was trying to do a segue, it didn't work. Nightmare Alley.
fuck yeah.
So similar to I was telling you that night when we watched this movie, similar to Last Night in Soho, I came in blind. I didn't see a trailer. I think I saw a poster, um, but that's it. I had no idea what the hell this movie was about. It was called Nightmare Alley. I thought maybe it was a horror film. You know, um, was not. It was.
No.
Would I categorize it as a suspense thriller?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because that's what I described it to someone
Very good
before,
there.
and I was I was like, I hope that's what it is. Um, so yeah, I liked it. I kind of saw the ending coming, but
Mhm.
I still enjoyed it. I think the what's the word? The loop was placed well. Like
Yeah.
you could tell it's gonna happen, but you weren't sure how it was gonna happen. Um, but I liked it, and I don't know, like the details that they went with a lot of things were really good too.
Mhm.
Um, uh, like
It's not so much knowing what's gonna happen, it's like seeing like the things that lead you to what happens.
exactly. But yeah, I my rating for it's probably like a 7 out of 10 personally.
Okay.
Just because again, it's still not my still might not blah, blah, blah. It's still not my cup of tea, but it is a good movie, and I do
Yeah.
recommend it to people. That's why 7 out
Mhm.
of 10. Like Spider-Man, I feel like that's a 9 minimum. Like I feel like I would give it like a 9 point something, like 9.5 or something.
I gotta know your
Um
fucking metrics. I gotta know your internal metrics. I can't
again,
compare.
it's just personal, right? Like it's not
Yeah.
I'm not gonna critique it, and like it's like for me personally it's like this number out of 10. It's you know I have a weird like the Lord of the Rings trilogy are 12 out of 10s, right? But like
11.
yeah. But yeah, it was a good movie. You'll probably go more into detail about it because that's what you
Mhm.
do. But um, yeah, I liked it. Thank you for taking me.
Oh yeah, of course. My pleasure, dude.
How about you?
Absolutely. Um, yeah, it's alright. It's alright. No, I really liked this movie. Uh, I think this could have been a fairly middle of the road average film, and Guillermo del Toro put his fucking Salt Bay spice on it,
I totally
like,
forgot
easily.
that he directed it. Yes.
Yup, yup. This is I believe his first non-supernatural horror film,
Mm-hmm. I
or just
think
non-fantasy
so.
based film.
Yeah.
Um, so long story short, follows the story of Stanton Carlton, Stanton Carlisle, Stanton doesn't fucking matter. Bradley Cooper.
Yep.
Uh, he plays a Midwesterner, or otherwise known at the time as an Okie, who flees to the carnival to escape a dark past, learns mentalism from one of the carnies, falls in love, and starts using his mentalism uh, to make money and starts manipulating the wrong people. And that is all I wish to say of the story before I ruin it for anyone. Um, this is based off of a book from the 40s and so on. There was another adaptation another adaptation of the film of this
Mm.
eh, another adaptation of the book in the 40s as well. Uh God, I don't even know where to begin with this movie. Uh I loved it. This is the kind of movie that I thought was a really great end of the year palate cleanser. Like I get
Mm.
it's still technically a big budget film. Uh Guillermo del Toro, Bradley Cooper, Kate
Yeah.
Blanchett, fucking Rooney Mara, Willem
Mm-hmm.
Dafoe, Ron Perlman. Like, I don't think there's a bad performance in this entire fucking movie.
Yeah.
Uh, just to give you like a sense of how good an actor is, uh, you could look at Bradley Cooper and just like think to yourself, man, if he just if he just walked away this one time, or if he just made a slightly different decision, like he is so good as the monster
Mm-hmm.
of this story. Like so goddamn good as this guy who just like can't seem to not be a bad person. Like
Yeah.
there are moments, there are beautiful moments where he's got a little bit of heart, where it's not like he's completely terrible. He's got a little bit of integrity in some spots, he's caring, you know, uh honest, but he's a misogynist. He's vindictive. He's cruel. He's not particularly willing to own up to some really awful things that he's done. And at the end of it, he falls for the very cons that he's been using on other people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's just the ending scene is him laughing and crying at the same time. And like, I get it. Like, oh, anyone can laugh and cry. I'm like, oh, maybe it might have been overdone, but like, I was fucking sold.
Yeah.
Like, I was sold the moment I saw him. Let's just put it that fucking way. But like at the end of it, I felt just so in the moment when he's just laughing and crying at the same time. It's a very powerful moment.
Yeah.
Um, Kate Blanchett is also absolutely good as like a mysterious evil human being. Well, not
Mm-hmm.
evil. Um, Kath, blah, blah, blah. Kate Blanchett plays I think Catherine Ritter. I don't know her first name. It doesn't matter. She
No.
plays a psychiatrist or psychologist who begins a relationship with Bradley Cooper's character, and he kind of second guesses her or thinks that he, has her pinned from like the beginning, and she has her own designs, but she plays a wonderfully elusive character. Just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like really plays up that 40s kind of power icon vibe. Um, Jesus, there's just so much I want to talk about this fucking movie. Um, like I was saying, it has Guillermo del Toro's distinct like look.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel that like I would imagine that this movie would exist and yet not exist at the same time if it wasn't for Guillermo del Toro.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't imagine like it's not even like their sets. I would imagine that half of it is like some of it's like green screen, right? Like I just can't quite
Yeah.
tell where. Like is it set design? Is it a location? Like what I enjoy about Guillermo del Toro's work is that like he does use some very effective practical effects,
Yes.
and the amount of CGI that he uses enhances the world that he's in, or the world that he
Yeah.
uses, because it's like I'm certain the exterior of the psychologist's uh penthouse was a green screen,
Oh, of course.
but like the lighting was great, the artificial lighting for it was great, the exterior shots with the circuses are great. Like I do think from what I've seen of Guillermo del Toro's work that he does use special effects, like computer effects, very sparingly. And
Mm-hmm.
when he does use them, like I said, they're meant to enhance the world, not act as a substitute or a crutch, which I what I really do appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he has this it I I was thinking to myself when the trailers for this movie came out, like Guillermo del Toro doing this movie, it doesn't look like it would fit, right? Like his style has almost been nothing but like fantasy and like and like some horror elements, and I'm like I don't see Guillermo del Toro doing like a not real world, but a non-horror, non-fantasy based work. But honestly, I feel like his visual style enhances the story. And I mean
Yeah.
in ways that I can't even fully describe or imagine. I God, yeah, I've just I really wish I knew how to articulate how much I like this movie. Performances are great, visual effects are pretty solid where they're used. Um, Directing obviously great. The writing is pretty good. It actually has some very old writing in it.
Oh,
There are a couple phrases that I couldn't quite catch that I I had to turn to my older than dirt father, and not even he knew. I talked to the trees, and they knew not, and I talked to the dirt, and he knew not. Um, the writing in it is pretty good. It's very alluring. It's very I don't want to say seductive.
mm,
Uh, the word I'm looking for is in relation to when Bradley Cooper and Kate Blanchett are kind of interrogating one another.
okay.
It's very alluring. It has a very old-timey vibe to it, but at the same time, it doesn't sacrifice pacing.
Mm-hmm.
As in, like it most of the dialogue seems to have a really good like build up. Uh, Almost all of, like I said, almost all of the bits with Kate Blanchett and Bradley Cooper have this great build up. The first time they meet, she tests him, as in
Yes.
like he's got a blindfold on, and Rooney Mara's character isn't feeding him any signals, and he essentially like reads just from her body language that she's got like a handgun in her bag.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not enough, right? It's not enough that like he was able to show that he could do that all on his own and make it look like he was psychic. He has to like hurt her.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, "Oh yeah, you carry it around because you think you're powerful, and you carry it around because because you hate yourself, or you're angry with yourself, or you have bad thoughts and you want to use it on yourself." And then when he has a one-on-one moment with her, he explains why why he did that, and it's like, ah, god damn it. I just I'm coming back from this, Harry, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
rusty, okay? I'm trying. But
Doing a good job.
words be hard,
Words
okay?
are hard.
Words be hard. Fudge ass. But yeah, anyone who's interested, I honestly would recommend Nightmare Alley over Spider-Man. I think
Ooh.
for a for a like a middle of the road, like, oh hey, let's go have fun. Of course, Spider Man. Of fucking
Mm,
course, Spider Man. So it's a fucking
right.
superhero movie. It's friendly neighborhood Spider Man. But I think for an R-rated suspense thriller by like a high like I want to say highbrow, like a high quality filmmaker, like this shit doesn't get fucking made often with fucking big ass uh studios. Like, come on. Like this is a fucking this is a treat. I recommend anyone go see it. Like You're 5. There's something in it for 5-year-olds. You fucking carnivals. See, there are carnivals in it for the 5-year-olds. They'll love it. They'll
They'll
fucking love
love
it.
it.
If you're a Midwesterner, you're conservative, there you go. Your main guy's a fucking Okie with straight teeth. There you go. By the way,
By the way.
last thing I'll mention of Nightmare Alley. Best fucking insult in the entire that I've fucking heard in a year, I think.
Hmm.
You're nothing more than an Okie with straight teeth. Oh, so good. So fucking good. I fucking turned to Stace and I was like, oh, yeah, that's going in the insult fucking pile. That shit was so goddamn good. Anyway, I'm good. I'm ready. I'm ready for you. What else you got?
Um, that's basically it. We're hitting about midnight. That was our
Yeah.
goal.
Tell you
That
what,
mm,
did you want to discuss your your YouTube crush and we can discuss tier 3 of resuming our conspiracies next week?
yeah,
All right. I'm going to fucking hold you to it.
sounds good.
Okay, folks. Next week, we will be going over some videos from YouTuber Devin Nash. We will also be discussing or continuing our discussion on conspiracy theories, which I'm excited for. And we will definitely be going over the next round of like shows, videos, any kind of movies that we've seen in between. But if you would like to watch our back catalog of absolute banger videos, because we're really
Mm-hmm.
coming into our own on the 46th episode, but all the other ones, yeah, you could check us out on YouTube at Hitting the Mark with Harry and Mark. Give us a like, subscribe, algorithm, I don't know, copy and paste things, I don't fucking know. Then you want to tell us how much you love us, how much you hate us, pointers, requests, autographs. You can hit
You
us
name
up
it.
at our, there you go. You can hit us up on our email, hittingthemark2020 at gmail.com. And if you'd like to keep up to date with all the things that Harry's playing, games, fucking day to day, minute by minute shit that we're doing, not really, you can hit us up at Twitter on capital H, capital T, capital M underscore podcast. Once again, HTM underscore podcast. We will be resuming our weekly broadcast, and we'll see you next week.
Bye bye.
Auf Wiedersehen, assholes.